I thank the chairman, and I ask unanimous consent to speak as a morning business. And Mr. President, I'd like to start by commending the chairman and the ranking member for the way they're handling this bill, because as you've seen on the floor today, Democrats and Republicans alike are able to offer amendments and have an honest debate on the issues, which is exactly how we ought to be operating. As the fiscal cliff approaches, we should be working together across the aisle to address issues like we are today with the defense authorization bill, but also other critical issues, including tax issues and spending issues. And that's what I wanted to address today. We have a lot of challenges, and instead of pulling together, we seem to be pulling apart. And I'm specifically referring to some of the suggestions by some in the majority that we consider controversial and partisan rule changes that would marginalize minority members, and doing it in a way that breaks the current rules to change the rules. And what I mean by that is it takes 67 votes to change a rule here in the United States Senate. That's a rule, by the way, that dates back to 1917. And the reason that's in place is because, obviously, folks wanted to force the majority and the minority to work together to make those rule changes. You don't get a two-thirds vote without that. And I think that's important, that the basic rules are ones that are agreed on. We tend to change parties a lot around here. In fact, we've shifted back and forth between Republicans and Democrats 7 times in the past 30 years. And so at one point you're in the majority, one time in the minority, and that's why having these basic rules in place seems to me to make sense. There are some proposing that we get around that 67 vote majority by some procedure where instead of having a two-thirds vote, you would just have a majority vote to change a rule. And regardless of what rule that might be, some would say it'd be on the motion to proceed and other aspects of the filibuster. Of course, it would set a precedent that it could change the rules for other things as well. So I just think that would prove counterproductive in the short term. I also think it would prove counterproductive in the long run for the United States Senate.